why is everybody the same?
What do you mean by that?
It comes down to a question of conformity.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when something becomes the norm, it is human nature for people to want to indulge in that and become that,
Yes.
right?
Because nobody wants to be the odd one out.
Exactly. Being the black sheep is hard.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to conforming, that's easier.
Yes,
It's
always.
easier path.
Yeah.
Now, why is everybody the same? Why in high school everyone would wear the same clothing? Everyone would follow the same trends.
Do the same activities.
Exactly. And anyone that was outside of that was considered weird or odd or
Anybody who kind of wanted to do their own thing.
out of the box.
Yeah.
And most of those kids would like either get made fun of or would just be left out.
Mm-hmm.
But to be completely honest with you, the people that were different, the black sheep, those are the people that are truly winning.
Mm.
For the most part, those are the people that are truly happy because they are following what they want to do.
Yeah. And I think about that a lot, actually. How weird compared to everybody else some people are. And that's a general statement because obviously there is no weird. It's just the way you want to perceive things. But I think about, like, big movie stars or something like that. Like, what if these guys were like the band kids that people were making fun of?
I bet you they are.
What if Steve Jobs or Bill Gates or those kids that always got shunned in the classroom, but then look where they got? You know, that kind of thing.
I completely agree with that because when someone chooses to be different, it's uncomfortable at first for everyone around.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Coming up with different ideas, different, like Stranger Things. That's a crazy concept. Star Wars, crazy concept.
Mm-hmm.
Handheld cellular devices, crazy concept for the time. And that is completely odd, right?
Mm-hmm.
And instead of conforming, they decided to follow what they believed.
Yeah.
And they found like-minded people that also wanted to pursue.
Mm-hmm.
But the issue with not doing that and deciding to conform is you kill that light, you kill that spark, and you decide to follow what everyone else is doing instead you literally essentially just kill yourself.
Call back to episode 9 where we talk about creativity a whole bunch.
Mm-hmm.
We said kind of along the same lines of everybody doing the same thing because not more because they want to, but it's more what's accepted. It's more what's been done. It's what gives you results in a lot of people's eyes when really it isn't. And it goes much more deep into that because people just want to follow what someone is doing. That's the nature of mankind in a sense because it's easier that way, like we've been saying. You know, we don't have to think about something if someone's already done it and it's given them results. But everyone's different. That's something not everybody realizes. No matter what, everybody is different. They follow different rules, different cultures, different everything. And what works for someone else might not work for you, might not work for me. But regardless, people are scared to be different because then they're looked at in a different way.
Well, it's a lot easier to follow in footsteps that have already been treaded.
Yeah.
Right? That is easier.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas creating your own path, your own footsteps, there's going to be a lot more failure, a lot more hardship, and it's just a lot harder overall.
But that's what's going to give you results.
That's what's going to teach you the most valuable lessons.
Mm-hmm. Because the cookie cutter attitude that a lot of people have, you know what I mean? Like, they just mold themselves
based on other people,
you know? Like cookie cutter personalities, for example. Like, you can see that shit all the time, especially on social media.
Mm-hmm.
You see that everywhere.
Well, there's always the top influencer, and then they have like their army.
And then they have the people also trying to copy them.
Yeah, their army, the chain of people,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah, they're like the tree.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they're like sprouted from them, and they're rooted from them. And like back to high school, everyone used to like cuff their pants, right?
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
That was just like a normal thing.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden baggy pants were popular.
Like that. Yeah.
And like for a while they weren't. Like
Mhm.
like remember when we used to cuff, like having baggy pants was like
Yeah, like what the fuck are you doing?
you were a loser.
Yeah.
But why is that? Like who makes these decisions?
Who decided that?
Exactly.
Who thought of that?
Who was just like, okay, this is what's gonna happen, and then the entire population was just like, yeah.
Man, I forgot about cuffing pants too. That's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah,
Exactly.
that's something everybody did.
Everybody did that.
Everybody did
Everyone
that.
would even like unroll them and recuff them like midway through like
Oh God, I used
a
to
party
do
or something.
that. I used to do that
just
shit.
like midway through walking, just like, oh, I just gotta fix my cuff.
Yeah, literally. What? Get the fuck up.
Like, it
Fuck
doesn't-
wrong with you? Start walking.
It doesn't even make any sense.
Walk normally. Don't cuff your pants. I don't know. That's a really good example because I don't even know where any of that came from. I just started doing it.
Yeah, me too.
I saw somebody and I was like, yo, like I think it was Jonathan
Jonathan
Quadros.
That's where I got it from, I think.
I was like, bro, teach me how to cuff pants. He's like, yo, this is how you do it. But I don't even know who started the trend. You know what I'm saying? All of a sudden, I just woke up one day and people were cuffing their pants.
You
and
remember
if you didn't cuff your pants, they'd be like,
You're a
bro,
waste.
what
You're a waste.
are you wearing? What, like, cuff your pants, bro?
No,
What's
you're
wrong with
you're a
you?
waste, dude, if you don't.
You're a waste, dude. Like what?
You remember Fresh Prince of Bel-Air
Yes, of
when
course.
he flipped his jacket inside out?
Yes, I remember that episode.
And then they had all the white kids that would just like, they were all, yo, Will, that's so tight.
Yeah.
Like, they all started doing it.
Yeah.
Same thing.
I think it starts with admiration for something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, with this person's doing something that you can appreciate, and you go want to kind of take from that.
You know what I think it is? I think everybody wants to be
Mm.
different,
Yeah.
but they're scared. And it takes that one person that does it
Mm-hmm.
for the rest of the people to feel like it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
For them to feel like there's a place of acceptance.
And
for
I
them.
guess there's a certain comfort in that too, because you now are doing something that someone else did that is now considered different. Because especially for example, if you talk to your parents and you go, "Oh, I was cuffing my pants," or some random trend, they'll say one of two things: either A, why are you doing that? That's weird. To which you feel it's different, right? Or B, I remember when I did that in high school, and all of a sudden it's like a cycle for a trend.
Oh yeah, that always happens.
You
My
know?
mom's like, "Oh, Becky pants are back again. Corduroy's cool again."
Yeah,
That's
right,
crazy.
right.
It's like, yeah, that is like such an odd.
It's a really big thing to tackle because style, for example, is changing all the time.
Why is it important to be the odd one out though? I want to ask you that. Why is it important to be the black sheep in the herd of white?
Because being different is good. There's no other sugarcoating to it. I mean, ideally we'd all want to be that one person that started cuffing their pants, right? And then everyone else starts doing it, and you're like, oh, man, I started something, you know, like trendsetter, something like that. But at the same time, there are also personal benefits to being different because you're comfortable within your own shoes.
Mm-hmm.
You're comfortable with the ideas you're making, the choices you're making, the decisions you're making, all of the above, right? And you're not feeling like you're scared or like you're going against someone's wishes because you're really not.
Instead of conforming to said trends,
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't it be such a cool world and reality if everybody did their own thing? If our minds weren't programmed to suit what was acceptable.
I feel like there's an issue with that.
It's flawed in society.
I can't exactly pinpoint it.
I think there's a hole in
Mm.
society.
'Cause I think if everybody starts doing their own thing, not a lot of the time it wouldn't work. You know what I mean?
Wouldn't work with what?
And a lot of people,
It wouldn't work with what?
like, it just wouldn't work. Everybody would be trying to do their own thing, right? And like I'm trying to say, a lot of people would fail, and then they're just gonna go, oh, well, why don't I just do what he's doing? It's working for him, you know? A lot of people, like we said, are scared of being different. And when they try to be different and they fail again, they're not going to want to be different anymore. You know what I mean?
They need... okay, there's two types of people in this world.
Mm.
There's leaders
Yes.
and there's followers.
Mm-hmm.
The leaders don't care what anyone else is doing. They will do what they want to do, when they want to do it, how they want to do it. The followers care about what everyone thinks. They want to be accepted. They don't want to be frowned upon. They don't want to be thought weird. They want to blend in. They want to fit in. So they follow what the leaders do.
It's
And there's only, I'd like to say, about 5, maybe 10% that are leaders, and the rest are followers. People that start businesses, that's a leader, and all the people that work, for the most part, are followers.
It's a really tricky. It's a really tricky concept. It's really thought provoking because why is everyone the same? Like we opened up with, But they're also they're like if someone wants to do what someone else is doing, and that's what comfortable is for them, that's what they want, that's what they find acceptable, then they should be able to do that. You know what I mean?
100%.
But if it's clouding their own thoughts, if they have ideas but they think like their ideas aren't good,
aren't going to be acceptable,
aren't going to be accepted because of what someone else is doing, that's when it becomes an issue. Because you're not evolving yourself. You're not expanding your mind.
Mm-hmm.
You're being closed-minded. You're just doing, again, what someone else is doing. Do you get what I mean when I say that?
100%. Yeah. You're just allowing yourself to ease in to other people's creativity.
But
instead of creating your own creativity.
A lot of people are also happy with that.
Honestly,
choice.
at that point, you become a fan, though. Think about it. People that are fans of different people's creations, right? You're a fan of someone's music. That's a creation. A fan of someone's TV show. They created that. You're a fan of someone's trend. You're a fan. And you want to be like them.
There's also a point I'm thinking about right now, actually, is that when you copy something, right, or when you do something that someone else is doing, it's not always a negative, because you yourself could find a better way to do that. Do you get what I mean?
You could evolve it.
Like there is a certain type of beauty within doing what someone else is doing.
Like you could put your own twist on it.
But if you just stay the same, nothing changes. But if you put your own twist on it, then you keep going, right? And there's infinite amounts of examples of that. Like you have Pokemon and Digimon, right?
And then there was all the other amazing card games that
like
we played. There's what do we Buddy Fight?
Buddy Fight, yeah.
There's
OGs, remember that?
What was that other one?
Magic the Gathering?
Yeah, there was Magic
the Gathering. Then there's like,
what was the one with the black cards and like the orange goldish kind of like swirls on the back? I forgot what that one was.
Black cards, orangish swirls on the back.
Yeah.
I do not remember that.
I don't remember either, but it was a card game.
Case in point, there's like a trillion card games, and some of them worked better than the others. I don't really know card game history. I'm not about that. I used to be, but not anymore. I don't know which ones came first and which ones came after. But the important thing to realize out of that example is that somebody saw someone's card game and went, yo, that's a good idea. We should try that and roll with it. Here's a good example. I know everyone remembers Fortnite. That's still a thing. That game originally, one of the first battle PUBG. He knows. One of the first battle royales, right, that was super popular was PUBG. I loved that game. That was amazing.
Fortnite did it better.
Fortnite did it better. Then came along Epic Games, and they were like, yo, this battle royale idea, let's try that. Let's do that. They might be going with something. And at first, I hated it.
Fortnite?
Because they took the idea, and it was fundamentally the same, but it was also different, right? They tried to make it different. And I was just like, what are they doing? Why are they copying this? And then after a few months, right, all of a sudden I'm playing Fortnite every day, because they did it better. You just have to accept the fact that someone will
did
do
it better, but the same thing with Fortnite, right?
Yeah.
Everybody was playing that.
That
shit.
is also, when you look at it on the other side of the coin.
Everybody was playing that.
On the other side of the coin, yeah. Everybody was playing it.
Like, if you weren't playing Fortnite, like, what were you doing?
Yeah. Literally, you'd mention any other video game and be like, okay, but want to play Fortnite?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like, do something else.
Exactly.
That's a very true statement. See, there's so many examples that you can delve into because that's
I
honestly how life is structured.
I also believe that events in your life lead to you doing things differently.
What did you say?
Events in your life.
Events in your life, yeah.
Like yourself.
Mm-hmm.
People always ask you why you wear 2 watches.
That's true.
There's a story behind it
Yes.
that nobody will ever know unless it is provoked.
I like that. I
Right?
didn't even notice
And
that as an example.
There's things that I do myself.
Mm.
Things that I wear, jewelry, different clothing, articles, they hold fundamentals to me. And I don't wear them because everyone else thinks it's cool or because everyone else thinks it's dope. And even if they do, I'm wearing it because it means something to me.
Exactly. That's a good example of being different, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I get questions about my watches all the time. Why do you wear 2 watches? You know, don't you think that looks stupid or whatever? I stopped caring.
Why would you even care?
Exactly, right? Where when I was younger, right, because I didn't know any better, I was scared of being called out like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't do that.
I think that's a huge sign of accepting yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's
when you start
maturity.
Not caring though, right? Like you just don't have to care what other people think, especially if it's something that isn't harmful.
My favorite example of that is Adam Sandler.
Okay, go get into that.
This guy wears the longest cargo shorts and the baggiest polos.
I don't really keep up with him.
Oh,
I just watch
dude,
a few of
his
movies.
Style is horrendous.
But he does what he wants.
But he does not give a fuck.
That he's wearing clothes.
He does not care.
It's not like he's running around naked.
And everyone says that he's a style icon because
he's doing what he wants.
His fits are timeless.
Yeah.
Like that's the most important thing is being timeless, not suiting the trends
to the moment, right? Because everybody stopped cuffing their jeans at some point.
Exactly. That's
everybody was like whatever.
That's momentary.
Yeah.
Right. And Adam Sandler, he has so much money, obviously, and he does not give a fuck.
Honestly, if you have you have billions of dollars, bro, and someone's telling you why are you wearing that, are you really gonna care? No. But that's how everybody should live. But
even if you don't have billions of dollars,
exactly.
Like some days I just throw on random fits. I'm like, oh yeah, this is comfortable.
That's what I'm saying.
And then either people will be like, yo, like,
I'm not gonna lie. I spend some time in front of the mirror just to make sure that it doesn't look dumb, right? But
I used to spend a lot of time in front of the mirror through high school. That was my biggest thing.
Yeah.
I had to like every morning I'd be like, or before bed I'd be like, oh, what fit am I gonna wear tomorrow?
I swear to God, in high school I had the most basic fits planned out. Like just I had a rotation even.
White shirt, black jeans.
That like literally just the brim stock that I could have because
stock.
Literally, go on Google stock image. That's what it is, and I'd cycle through that shit because that's what worked out, right? But now. You know, I have my different senses of style. You know, maybe one day I want to wear more streetwear. Maybe one day I want to dress proper. Like,
know yourself.
Know yourself. Know what you're comfortable in. Know what your boundaries.
I think there's also a huge side of inspiration, right? You can look up things that you're inspired by and then take inspiration from it. Like, I know Brent and I, we used to always look at different influencers and pictures and videos. And then we'd be like, oh, that's dope. Let's go take pics like that. Or we'd be like, oh, that's a sick fit. Let's go see if we can thrift something that looks like that.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily think that that's copying exactly. I think it's more enjoying what they have created and wanting to be a part of it.
You know what I've hated, though? Just complete side tangent. What I've hated is, like, one day maybe I bought a shirt from somewhere. And I go out the next day and I see like 17 different people wearing that exact same shirt. I'm like, bro.
I won't even lie to you.
All of a sudden, I don't want to wear that shirt anymore.
I've never seen anyone rock anything that I own.
There you go.
Besides like a couple pairs of shoes that are like popular.
No, shoes is more shoes, but like.
But for the most part, like most of my drip is all Ethan Durrett.
I guess like the one odd shirt I'll buy is like something everybody wants for like the summer or some shit like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's just that one article of clothing that everybody will wear for some random reason. Like I swear to God, I went to Calgary, or no, we were here, and we bought remember that day we bought like a bunch of summer shirts and stuff from the Winners.
Yeah.
So one of those shirts, I haven't worn it yet, but I went to Calgary one weekend. and all of a sudden, I kid you not, we went bar hopping, and there was lineups, and in that exact same lineup, I could have pointed out maybe 2 or 3 people wearing that exact same shirt. I was like, bro, that's crazy.
Wow.
And when you think about it, right, it's a big world, but it's also a small world, right? Everybody's trying to do something the same.
See, personally, I've always wanted to be different.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever someone wanted to do red, I wanted to do blue. Whenever someone wanted to do black, I wanted to do
I remember
white,
this kid was different for sure.
right? And like I've always found happiness in not being the same.
Yeah, I mean, as long as it makes you happy.
I've always found happiness in doing things differently. 'Cause I started watching Stranger Things, for example, back in 2016, 2017, when
Yeah.
it first dropped.
Yeah, when it was like a first.
You remember Mr. Dumoulin?
Yes.
He told us about it. The
Really?
show Stranger Things on Netflix. It's really cool.
Did he
And
tell us about that? I don't remember that. Must have been one of those days where I was like sick for a week.
And you had those all the time.
I know I did.
And yeah, he told us about it. And I was like, like cool show. I should look into it.
Yeah.
So I jump on it. It's not popular at this point in time.
Definitely not.
No one knows about it. It's 2016, 2017. This shit didn't get popular till like 2020, right?
Yeah.
2019, 2020, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
So I'm like enjoying it. I love doing things that no one else is doing.
Mm-hmm.
And then as soon as it got popular, it killed the vibe for me.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't like doing what everyone else is doing. It makes me feel like I'm in a simulation.
Well,
it makes me feel like
it's-
everyone is the same.
Especially if you were one of the first ones, and all of a sudden it's blown out of proportion, and if you were to bring it up to someone, they wouldn't even care.
Exactly.
They'd be like, "Oh, everybody's been doing that, man. Everybody's been watching Stranger Things. What have you been on?" When when in reality you were one of the first ones to watch the show.
That's why for me that show, like, it was very, very, like, the first couple seasons were very, very, very special to me.
Yeah.
But like going forward, I'm not interested anymore.
Yeah, people were
Like
ruining it.
I've lost literally
Ruining
ruining it. I've lost interest.
Yeah.
What I really love doing is finding stuff like that, sharing it with a few people like yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and then it blowing up,
Mm-hmm.
and then just dropping it, right? I don't love jumping on waves, like cuffing my pants. Like that was a wave I jumped on.
Mm-hmm.
But back then I wanted to be, like a part of the squad.
I mean, it's different when you're younger because you don't know any better unless you've developed the mindset.
When
you
you're
know?
younger, you're so much
and you're
easier.
taught. You're impressionable. That's what it is. When you're younger, you're impressionable.
Yes,
you
yeah.
you want to do other things.
Well, that's
right?
like that's like Ben, my little cousin,
yeah,
right? Everything that Ethan does, Ben does.
yeah. And I mean that's
just how it is.
Yeah.
Like you have role models.
Mm-hmm.
You have people that you're inspired by.
People you want to be like.
Exactly.
That is a normal part of wanting
of growing up.
Yeah, growing up wanting to be the same as someone. That's perfectly normal. It's when people take it to an extreme. But now the other thing I was thinking about.
Let's hear about the extreme.
About the extreme side?
Yeah.
Well, for example, you have the people on Twitter that defend a celebrity like it's their best friend, like they know this person, like that's their mom, bro.
That is,
you know what I'm
so
saying?
true.
And maybe
they're like they would never do that. Like
what? Like
how do you know?
Exactly. Like what? Right? And maybe this person's music is garbage at the end of the day. Maybe you liked one song, but now that you've seen someone defending that person, now you want to defend that person too.
Yeah.
So that artist, let's say, has an army of people defending them.
Even though they're garbage.
Even though maybe even these artists don't even pay attention to that. Like like BTS, for example, the Korean pop group, the K-pop group. Maybe they pay attention to their fans, maybe they don't. I can't feasibly see how they would care, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like a couple dudes doing their thing, singing songs, and you have these fangirls just ride or dying for them on a social media. Be different, bro. Just because Susie's hating on Jim, you don't have to hate on Jim, too. You know what I'm saying? Like, get a life. Do something else. You know what I'm saying? But
it's actually crazy.
But people are so comfortable in seeing someone do something that they want to do it too.
Okay, yesterday, I was hanging out with some friends,
Yeah.
and they told me that, I don't know if you heard Drake's concert got canceled yesterday, and it got moved.
No, because he has COVID, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So his concert got moved, and this girl bought tickets, hotels, flights, whatever, from BC to go to Toronto. And he canceled. And she said she spent like $3,000 overall to go do this. And now she's like complaining 'cause she needs to sell her car 'cause she can't afford to like live now. Yeah.
Why?
Because like that was all of her money. Like that was it. And she's like really upset that he canceled, and like that was like she needs to sell everything that she has to like make ends meet. Could you imagine going to that extent to go see someone that doesn't even know you exist?
Like, why? Why?
That's what I mean.
You know what I'm saying?
Like that's different.
That is different.
And like it's either a side of conforming because everyone is there, right? And you want to be like have you ever heard of not wanting to miss out? There's a term for it.
the fear of not missing out. Or
The fear of missing out.
The fear of missing
FOMO?
out. Yeah.
FOMO?
Yeah.
'Kay,
The fear
yeah.
of missing out. Not
So
the fear of not.
there's a lot of people that grow up with that.
Yeah.
And it carries on to their adulthood, and then they struggle with it. So it's either a case of that, or she's just like down horrendous for Drake.
Oh, probably a mixture of both.
But like
I'm down bad for Drake.
that whole like FOMO thing is crazy.
Yeah. It can get, even myself though, especially in my heavy gaming days, right, with my friends.
Yeah, you don't want to go to bed.
Nah, bro, because we have such funny shenanigans going on literally all the time that
Yeah.
you start developing a fear of missing out on those shenanigans.
Yeah.
And then the next day, people, maybe you don't.
Well, 'cause imagine going to bed and then the next morning everyone's like, "Yo, that was so funny," or,
Exactly.
"That was crazy."
Maybe you don't stay up with them.
Yeah.
And then the next morning you see like a line of messages like, "Oh my God, you remember this from last night?" or whatever, like
Bro,
blah 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 blah.
You know when you jump in the group chat and there's like so much shit you gotta scroll through.
Yeah.
You're like,
right?
what the fuck?
Like, and it's always those days where you miss maybe an hour or maybe you go to bed early.
Yeah.
It's always those random days that the next day, but there's always gonna be days like that. You know what I mean? Like,
That's life.
sure, our life is only one, and it's not guaranteed forever. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to live with the fear of missing out, because
gotta
all
do
of
your
those
own
things
thing.
are going to happen.
Gotta do your own thing.
Eventually, again, something similar.
When I was younger, obviously you get you get put to bed earlier, right?
Yeah.
So whenever we go on family trips, to the lake, at the cabin, obviously I get put to bed earlier.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
No brainer.
Nothing out of the ordinary. I hated that.
Yeah.
'Cause obviously all my aunties, uncles, cousins, they're hanging around the fire,
Mhm.
you know, just relaxing, boating, whatever. And Ethan needs to go to bed. I'm just like, what?
Yeah, right? Like, you just
Like,
want to
this
stay
is
up with the
so
homies.
lame. Right?
Right? You want
Exactly.
to stay up with your your family.
And same thing, when you're that young, you're very impressionable.
Mm-hmm.
And I had cousins that I looked up to. Same thing, right? Oh, that guy's so sick. Like, that's dope. So like I wanted to hang out with him. I wanted to chill with them. And like obviously it wasn't a fear of missing out. I was just upset that
Yeah.
I had to miss
Yeah.
out. And I think that translates to our life today.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have your own things that you're working on and you're always relying on other people, you're going to have a fear of missing out on what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, naturally.
Yeah.
Right? But you really, what people aren't taught is how to be their own person. That's something that comes about naturally. And whether you want to be your own person or not, it's something that you learn. Right?
Well, either you want to be another clone,
Mm-hmm.
or you want to be one of one.
Mm-hmm. And again, it's perfectly fine if you want that lifestyle because it's what brings you peace. But again, if it affects you to the point where you're shutting yourself down, then you maybe need to rethink a few things.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The last thing I wanted to kind of ask you too is, at what point is being different too different? You know what I mean? Like,
Never.
do you think it's never different?
Nah. Personally, I think you can take that as far as you want.
Mm-hmm.
You can be as weird as you want. You just need to be ready for the inevitable.
backlash that'll
right?
come from
the
it.
inevitable people and world that's going to treat you differently.
I'm gonna get controversial
Like,
because we're unfiltered.
I am too, real quick. Have you ever heard parents when their kid comes out and they're like, I don't want this for you because it's going to be hard,
Yeah.
but I accept you.
Yeah.
Same thing, right? Same thing. They know that they accept them,
Yeah.
but they know the world won't.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the exact same thing with being different, right? With being different, you accept yourself, you don't give a shit, but the world won't accept you. Then it comes to the question of caring. But you also get treated differently, like we talked about the other day.
Mm.
A black man getting pulled over wearing dress clothing
Yeah.
or baggy clothing.
Yeah.
You get treated differently based
Mhm.
on who you are, based on your appearance, based on how you carry yourself, based on how you talk. Like, all of that stuff is very important to the world. To yourself, maybe not. Maybe you don't care what you dress like, if you shave, if you take care of yourself, if you wash your skin, if you shower. Like, all that stuff might not matter to you, but to the rest of the world it does.
But those things those are some examples of things that you should do.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's just, when being different starts getting in the way of basic functions, for example, like, what are you
that's
doing?
a good point.
You know what I'm saying? That's
Yeah.
exactly what I'm getting at. And then
I think there's a basic amount of conformity that needs to happen, right?
and at that point I wouldn't even call it conformity. It's just
Human needs, just
the way
life.
it is, the way it should be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you really get up here and tell me that you don't brush your teeth, for example,
Yeah.
ever, just because you don't want to, because you
Well-
want to be different, come on, dude.
You know those people that like eat soap or like drink gasoline or like they're
Like, what
like
the
all
fu-
those people? You know,
Like, what the
have you
fuck?
seen those on Snapchat?
That's like attention seeking at that, but that's an issue. That's a different issue entirely.
Yeah,
That's like
but
attention
that's being
seeking.
different.
Mm-hmm.
But like, come on,
Like,
come on. It's same thing with diet, right? There's things that work and there's things that don't.
yeah,
You need to follow what works,
yeah.
right? There's a certain level of taking what people have already done.
I don't know if you've seen this dude on social media that eats like raw meats. and
Oh
he's,
yeah,
like,
yeah, Liver
super
King,
ri-
Liver King, yeah,
Liver
yeah.
King. And then you have a lot of people that are like, oh, if I eat like that, then I'll be buff and ripped. Like, no. Who knows what works for him or not? That's
Who
him.
knows what he's actually doing? though?
Yeah.
Because there's lots of spectacles that he's
Speculations.
speculations that he's off injections.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the other thing with social media. It's
You gotta be
very
careful.
misleading.
Yeah.
Right. You can't just believe everything that you
Mhm.
see, everything that you read.
Yeah.
It just 'cause it's on the internet doesn't mean it's real.
It doesn't mean it's
You
real.
need to check your sources. That's
Yeah.
like when you write an essay.
Yeah.
You get told you need to make sure
Check
you
your
have
sources.
real sources.
For more on that, check out episode 8.
Facts.
But there's also the being like furries, for example.
Yeah.
You know, like that's different.
Mm.
Like, that's almost too weird in a
Well,
sense for me.
I actually know someone that is.
Really,
Yes.
and I'm not hating on furries. I don't want to just completely stand against them, but I'm talking about like when it's like to an extreme. Like, you are that animal. You're a human
I was actually talking about
being.
this last night.
Yeah, let's hear.
There's
Let's
three
hear that.
different kinds of furries.
Okay.
There's furries that believe they are the animal.
Mm-hmm.
There's furries that just dress up as the animal.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't remember the third one. But but I do agree that is like very, very, very
Like,
extreme.
it's
Like-
to a point where it's like, just bro, like, you have to be. You're a human being. You can't just be or the people who find like these random ass sexualities, and don't take that out of context. I'm not hating on, the bisexuals or whatever. But when you take it to like, oh, I'm sexually attracted to trees. What the fuck? What is wrong with you? Like that, you know what I'm saying? That's too different.
I'm not gonna lie. Anyone that like takes offense to that, I'm sorry, but that's different.
That's just straight up, like, just what the fuck, dude.
That's different.
Y-
yeah.
You know, things like that like, even that just evokes that response from me or from anyone.
Yeah.
That's just crazy. But there's also, in those like small groups, maybe not the far extremes, but back to the furry example, there are communities of people who think the same way as you, who like what you're doing,
and that accept you.
and that accept you for it, right? So if you are honestly comfortable within that space, and that is your niche, that's who you want to be, that's cool.
I think it's important to find those people too.
Yeah,
'Cause
because
that's what
they'll
makes you
they'll
feel-
uplift you,
that's what
and
makes
they
you
won't
feel like it's okay.
and they won't make you feel like you're the black sheep entirely. Like,
You're different, but you have people that accept your differences.
yeah, you're still a black sheep, but you found another group of black sheep to be with,
Facts.
right?
I think that's the most important thing. Finding your group of black sheep.
Gotta surround yourself with those people. But
Yeah.
if it's to a point where it's extreme, and it's getting in the way of normal things, right? And I'm not talking about like normal, like, oh, like this isn't normal and this is normal, like conformity wise, but just normal, like things that you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's when it's an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Being too different, you have to be different within like constraints, I feel. And I know that sounds kind of counterintuitive, kind of redundant, but when you think about it, right, like I said, you can't just not brush your teeth. You can't just not shower.
There's certain things that you need to do.
Those are pretty shitty examples because they're pretty basic level examples.
I feel like it's like you need to learn from people's past mistakes.
Yeah.
And then you need to decide what you want to apply.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And there's a base functionality in society that I agree to be necessary.
Yeah.
And then there's other things that in society I don't agree to be necessary and I believe need to be gotten rid of, to be honest.
Yeah.
But for the most part, we live in a society that does a good job.
Mm-hmm.
It's I wouldn't say it's a well-oiled machine,
Mm-hmm.
but it does what it needs to do. It gets through. There's lots of flaws. There's things that need to change, and in due time, hopefully. But for the most part, do what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Find people that do what
100%.
that would do what you want to do.
100%.
And live life.
Enjoy life. Live life the way you want to.
Love life.
That's what's up.
All right, dope.
That's episode 10 of Unfiltered.
Appreciate you guys.
Unfiltered.
Thank you guys so much.
A lot of stuff going on with the past few videos. I know this video will come out a few days late. It was just a trip.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
when you have something that works, you don't always have to change it. And there's always finding.
Let's make that another video.
That should be a good video right there. But we had the software we were using, switched to another one, like maybe for the sake of efficiency, but it all ended up flopping. So blah 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 blah. Long story short, we flopped 2 videos, not 1, 2, new record.
Yeah.
So that's pretty crazy. But we're out here again. We're staying consistent, at least as much as we try to be.
After the second video, we went outside in the street.
Literally, I laid on the concrete in pain. I was like, bro, this is unreal.
It was actually fun.
Got home, shouted into my mic at my friends. Yo, you'll never believe what
Okay,
just
listen,
happened.
we'll break it down really quick. We changed the software. It doesn't work. The video was fine.
Yeah.
We changed back to the old software. That audio was good. But the
Camera storage
ran.
Ugh.
Jesus Christ.
We need to get some upgrades.
Yeah, we do.
in due time. But big shout out to y'all. The feedback was crazy. I've said this
Love you guys.
for 2 failed episodes now, but straight up, the feedback has been crazy, especially on our previous 2 videos with the new setup and all. This is our first video with just us 2 with the setup, which is also pretty damn cool. And it's just sick to see where we've came from, how much we've evolved, all the way from episode 1. We're on episode 10 now. This spans about 3-4 months.
We're 10 deep.
Around there, because
3 months.
there's episodes that flopped. And it's just so sick. So if you guys have anything to say, please keep hitting us with those comments. And if you like the video, like it, subscribe. We're pumping it out.
Sure.
Check out the Spotify. It's there.
Facts. Check out all of
And
our past videos as well.
Check out all the past videos, and we'll be here all the time.
Thank
That's
you
what's
guys.
up.
Love you guys. Bye.
Tap me up. Oh. Oh.